Okay, so this one looks really obvious, so it must be really difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, they're harder as they go. Oh. I wish it would show the overhead view, like, in the corner while he's pushing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I can't see the floor.
Right. I guess you just have to memorize it that first time they show it.
I believe he can he can see the overhead view again in some way.
Yeah.
But I might be wrong.
He's just got to memorize. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, as often as he's obviously played, as evidence. There we go.
Yeah.
As evidence, what we've seen so far, he's probably got this down pat. Oh, I think he had to reset it. Just like in real life, you can reset the boxes back to their starting point. There are a lot of game mechanics I wish worked in real life.
Yeah. Like that. Everything gets red and then you hide behind something and you're okay again. That would be nice.
Any fast travel mechanism.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
I have to go watch some buzzcocks on YouTube now. Amstel did a sitcom once, too, called My Grandmother, which I think is also on YouTube.
Grandma's House.
Grandma's House, yes. It's
Heavily
amusing.
heavily based on his stand-up material.
Right, which is heavily based on his life.
Yeah. Which is heavily based on... I couldn't think of something funny fast enough there.
The Old Testament Book of Ruth.
There we go. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of criticizing the usage of Amstel and others, but British TV has gay people and they're allowed to be gay. Whereas American TV, if someone's gay, you're not allowed to mention it. It's changed a bit recently, mostly because of Neil Patrick Harris, whom I like, but I didn't vote for him as the official gay.
I thought that was... Do you remember, like, when he was outed and it was a thing? And, like, he just basically was like... I remember he had the weirdest comment. It was like, yeah, I live my life as a happy gay man or a contented gay man or something like that. And it was like... And then just suddenly he was a gay mascot, like overnight, and it was like, wait, what? Like, it just felt very... I was very confused by that, but...
Well, a cynical sort would mention that he's rich, attractive, white, cis male, and therefore he's more likely to come to the forefront than other types of people.
Yeah.
Quite a woman, Lily.
But I'm glad he came forth because he kind of drowned out Dan Savage some, and I despise that man.
We FBI special agents are all living and breathing heroes.
I remember when Ellen Page came out and she was kind of like shaking, and like that felt like a big moment. And
Don't worry about that, Lily.
and PH was just kind of like, yeah, it's cool.
Yep.
I'm just like, all right, that's great, but
Well, I mean that's kind of the thing about the closet is if you're in it, it's because you think it's dangerous outside.
yeah,
Whether that turns out to be accurate or not is irrelevant. And if you're in the public eye, you could lose your career,
sure.
possibly. I mean that's
Hi there.
not only is that something that's happened in the past, it's something that agents are still telling actors now,
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
which is not cool.
Well, I mean, especially if you're, if you're a Rock Hudson type, right? Like it's again with the current, because that was why like Rock Hudson and who else? Shit, there's somebody else famous from around that same time. Why they couldn't come out because they were billed as heartthrobs.
Right.
And then I think NPH did a great job of like helping to show that you know, I mean, I think he came out, first couple of years of How I Met Your Mother, and it's like he just continued to play a womanizing, very straight character after he was out.
Called acting, folks.
Yeah, and it's like, it doesn't... Like, I remember James Van Der Beek saying how pissed off he was because when he did the press tour for the movie... I can't remember the name of that movie now. The End of the World or something like that. It was a college movie based on a book, and in it, there's a scene that happens in a gay character's head where, because he's like secretly in love with Van Der Beek's character, and they take off their shirts and start making out, and he said that. And it's like this very small part of the movie, right? But it gives you a glimpse in that character's head. And he said that all through the press tour, everybody kept asking, what was it like to kiss another guy on screen? And he's like, you know, for years I kissed Katie Holmes on screen and I didn't love her, you know? It's acting. Like, what does it matter, you know? So, yeah.
Making progress, sort of. We're kind of moving backwards this year, but hopefully that won't stick.
Yeah.
Not bitter or anything.
Yeah.
Now he's going to get the legendary Grekach.
Oh, okay.
That's the final reward for the slider puzzles. That's Keith's guitar, which he's essentially going to steal from their house. She gave him the house key so he could get into the garage.
Grekach sounds a little bit too much like Crotchage.
I read somewhere an explanation of the name of the guitar, but I cannot remember what it was. Something Norse, maybe?
So how many days do you think we're going to go through before we finally get to go to the goddamn sheriff's office?
I don't know. I'm not sure how many days we've been through.
This is just day 2.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because we've only...
It's 10:30. It's 10:30 again. I thought we already broke noon on the second day.
No.
Okay. The answer to your question is I don't know.
Jesus, these cars and they're turning onto roads. I think I'm next.
Windsock.
Yeah, and so we're going back to the hotel?
There are more than one windsock in town. I don't know if we're going back to the hotel or not, personally. But
I think the windsock to the hotel is right before the bridge, or if we're coming from the hotel right after the bridge. So I think this is the hotel route. Yeah, there's that thing on the left and the blue arrow on the right.
It looks like an anchor? What would you say that is on the left? No.
Oh, God, I have no idea. Book?
Building from above?
It might be the hotel. Let's see if we...
Yes, you're right, we are going to the hotel, because I remember this curve.
Yeah.
I guess that's the hotel. Maybe, yes.
Yeah, alright.
Specifically right over your room, by the look of it. Ah, that suit. I would wear that suit, actually. I'm mocking it, but I wouldn't wear the other one, the red and white one. But this one I'd wear. A popular fish. Always wins Queen of the Prom.
Right. Yeah, let's see. Current events. We got current there for a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait, we aren't sleeping, are we?
Current events are really depressing lately.
Yeah. By the time this is out, it's very possible that the impeachment will be over, and so...
I don't think that'll make everything better.
Well, fair enough.
Unless we also take out the next 3 people in line.
Right. But seriously, like, I keep thinking, like, how low is the bar for impeachment at this point? You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
Hi.
We've definitely gone lower than Clinton, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're at least threatening lower than Nixon. I mean, stuff he said he's gonna do, but hasn't done yet.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, with Bush, we had, like, war crimes and the Patriot Act, so I guess I should know that it's pretty damn low at this point.
Yeah, particularly when the legislative branch is primarily lapdogs.
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess they would have to instigate it, right?
Yeah. Though there are some GOP who are starting to shift uncomfortably in their seats. We do have a midterm election in 2018.
Right.
And so some of these folks are going to be up for re-election, or not. So maybe if we can just sort of put off major damage until then, somehow. I'm depressed about it and trying to keep upbeat worldview of maybe it'll work out, but some of the stuff going on is going to have a death toll. And that's a cheery game-related topic.
No, it's upsetting. It's you know, and everybody like keeps finger pointing and stuff, and then there are a lot of things like, you know, so the Betsy DeVos thing, like that. Obviously, there's all sorts of shit around that, but some people, one of the ways, I guess, to combat this in general is they've introduced a bill that just says Department of Education will go away at the end of 2018, okay? And I actually have people in my life who are teachers who are pro that, and I'm like, okay, so, and I've seen that article where, like, apparently the Department of Education was just brought about so that, was it Truman could have the, teachers union in his pocket, and I'm like, okay, so even if the Department of Education was started for bad reasons, is it completely useless now? Does it provide nothing? Like, is this something that we shouldn't worry about because it's just this useless add-on? And I haven't gotten any answers from that, so I don't, you know, and I don't really care enough to go to research. It's like, I don't have kids in school, and I'm not going to schools.
But I think it's slightly specious reasoning, but I think one of the biggest things to look at on that question is who's doing it? Who's trying to get rid of it? It's the people who are trying to get rid of all oversight everywhere for everything. To give money to companies and to take the government out of maintaining the quality and ethics of things, and I don't trust anything they put forth at this point.
Oh, shit, we smoked till 6 p.m., so we missed the sheriff again today.
Is this Emily's house?
I don't know. I thought we were going to get the great crotch itch, but I guess not.
I did too. Yeah, that's Emily again.
Well, I'm gonna go...
Cook another meal.
Yeah, cook another goddamn meal. Maybe this is why we got crackers. Maybe we gotta give her crackers. She's...
Oh, maybe.
Something smells good.
Really?
I know, the onion is for one of these.
A meatloaf, huh? Nice. That's a basic dish for every household.
Yep, my mother cooked it pretty often too. Would you like to give it a taste?
For every household that's okay with murdering sentient creatures.
Well, I can...
Don't worry, I've done the poison testing
yeah, but
already,
who's counting?
and I made something pretty tasty last time, didn't I?
Well, it's getting
Emily,
really black
we should
there.
do this another time.
I like how he's like, let me just make it clear that I'm here to solve a murder, but we aren't really doing anything about that, so...
Emily, I have to admit this one
that,
is...
That knife in the background has to be stuck down into the counter to not tip over.
Into their mouth, that much is certain. But I'm not sure if the human digestive system can handle this and digest it. Oh, come now, Emily, no need to get depressed. It's just like last time. We just need to identify
cheese,
the
and it's
missing
better.
ingredient. And that might turn today's cooking into a tasty dish.
That level of insult, and all it needs is one added ingredient.
One that becomes
an onion?
sweeter when heated.
A sweet
so it's barely, it's not digestible, but let's add an onion.
And I will bring it to you like last time.
Okay, I'll keep trying by myself too.
Another nice try cooking. You don't have to go to the menu every time.
Well, again, I guess it's like you can pause and read it if you want.
Yeah.
Emily, the answer is onion.
I'm trying to think of, like,
Onion?
meatloaf without onion and with it. Like, yeah, it sounds like it'd be better with it, but if it's absolutely disgusting without it...
Yeah, it's not going to be transformative, to use a nice fancy word.
Let's see if we can, if we get another good
The
reaction.
meatloaf is finished.
Meatloaf isn't
Yeah,
finished.
and
He
it
still has a
tastes good,
music
too.
career.
It really is good, isn't it? Probably good enough to sell.
Emily, this
I'd hope that
certainly
it was
tastes
finished
good.
since we're here eating it.
But if I were you, I wouldn't quit my job to become a cook just yet. It'll be a tough career move.
You think so? I'd like to get other people's opinions, too.
I can't recommend that. I'm trying to be polite about this,
He's rude.
Yeah.
Then
I'm
you should
failing
stick to being
miserably, but-
polite until we finish eating. I can't believe you're the only person I have to eat this fine meal with.
Zach, we search for ingredients for her, and we help her with her cooking.
And we insult her
Go as far as
repeatedly.
to praise the taste. And yet she still gets angry.
Why
No
am
wonder
I
you
still
don't understand
single?
women. Yeah. The,
Are all
the
women this
woman
way?
who scratched his face probably was
They all
just,
just
you know...
snap like this? Either way, I can't figure her out.
Here's a hint, York. If all the women in your life snap, you're doing something wrong.
Like, this little
Agent
inner
York,
monologue, plus,
I'm
like,
sorry
I
if
really
I
like
got
to
a
look
little
into the
emotional.
murders of young women. I'm like,
But I'm glad I was able to make a good meal today.
Industrial waste. That's a
I
little
know
on the
this
nose.
isn't much, but
yeah.
please, I want you to have it.
You already gave it to us. Alright, whatever.
Stop eating. Some of these trophies are a little, the bar is low.
Yeah. We gave away an onion.
You know, in France, if you give someone an onion, it means you're engaged.
Is that true?
No.
Okay. It's French. They have a different word for everything. And like 1975 Steve Martin joke. Really,
Yes.
really keeping it current here.
Steve Martin's, most of his humor, I think, still stands up just fine.
Sure. He had one of the best intros I think I've ever seen, which was, I'm trying to remember exactly how it was phrased. He comes out of the Saturday Night Live audience and he's like, yeah, this is pretty fun considering we're all gonna die one day, right? Very Simon Amstel, right?
Yes. I cannot remember the context that led to this line, but one of my favorite Steve Martins that I still use is he comes upon a like a group of women and he says, "Wow, look at the tits! There must be 37 of them."
Okay. Oh, now we're gonna smoke. What are we waiting for now?
Back into evening. He's well past his
Bedtime.
bedtime.
How deer's
Nice.
hanging out.
George's house.
I guess the crackers are just there to eat.
He still has an onion.
No?
Alright. It's kind of late to be calling on the sheriff.
George, which do you prefer, mustard or hot sauce?
You didn't
What?
come all the way to my house just to ask me that.
Oh, now I
You
want
don't
hot
have other
dogs.
things you should be doing?
Of course I do. But I'm interested in you right now.
Interested?
Uh-oh.
Agent Morgan,
Wow,
my mother is sick. If it's not urgent, I'd rather we did this later.
Is she very ill?
Well, I have to say, it doesn't look good.
Remember this scene for later.
I'm sorry to hear that. Anything I can do?
I am Superman.
No. This is a private matter. Can't ask for
A
it.
matter about my privates.
You know, back in D.C., people always came to me for personal advice.
And blowjobs.
I'm here to help you if you let me.
There's no need for that, Agent Morgan. Please. You need to...
Abide by the rules, right? Okay, I get it.
When people use ellipses when they
I didn't mean
hyphen.
to invade into your private
Yeah.
matters.
Oh.
George, I just thought you could use a friend who wasn't a dumbit.
That's a reference to a side quest that we haven't
My
done
mother
yet.
really liked this flower.
Flower.
Yes. Small flower. No name.
I swear he's going to try and do every single side quest before he goes into the main drag.
Growing anywhere. I think it would make my mother happy if you could get her that flower.
George, that's good. Great idea.
This is how he gets the radio, though.
Flowers.
Sweet.
You know all about that, right, Zach?
In any case, this is a personal matter. Make sure it doesn't...
I think the flower's more or less on the other side of town, though, just to make it, you know...
But I'm going to find that flower
Convenient.
for you.
His entire clue is nameless flower.
Yeah.
He's got to find a nameless flower somewhere in the entire town of Greenvale. So that's going to be easy. That's how I like to close the door on someone, too. Kind of slow.
Staring them in the eyes the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah. That's great when the Mormon missionaries come around. I mean, my acting training gives me the ability to have a very mean-looking stink eye, you know. So. Give it the serial killer grin. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I still work at the haunted house, but now I train the actors. So I train monsters to be monstrous. It's a lot of fun.
I always
thought I
try
was-
to be nice to the Mormon missionaries because I guess I kind of see it like they're kind of like the debt collectors who call on the phone. You know, it's like they're just getting paid like the $10 an hour, and you know they're buying into all this stuff, and it's really the people above them who I have the problem with. But what I hate is when they get like self-righteous on you, and it's like, dude, like you waste your time on whatever you want to, but you know, like you're in my house, like respect that.
Most of them are very respectful in my experience.
Yeah. I just had one bad experience, and it was like, are you kidding? Like, you can just go now, you know.
I know some non-missionary Mormons that are very, like you described.
Yeah. How you say douchey.
Yes.
Muffer Road. I'm just amazed at how well he can drive. So I'm just like, man, it's nigh impossible for me to make it down the damn road.
Yeah. I think it's the car. I think the different cars handle differently. That may be why he's stuck with this one, or sticking with this one. Where are you going?
The film quality is so bad at night, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell's going on.
Is it a flower?
It looks like a tennis
I'll
racket.
call it the nameless flower.
Oh, okay.
Pretty poetic, if I do say so
It's a
myself.
daisy.
Let's find one and make George's mother happy.
You can't tell if a flower has a name by looking at it in the grass. It doesn't come with a label.
No, he memorized all the flowers in this town.
Yes, clearly. Here, have a daisy, George. A daisy.
Alright, now all the way back. There's another windsock.
Maybe they don't have a name for daisy in Japan. But then they would just call it a daisy. With an accent. Which I won't do.
Maybe, but luckily we have, oh hell, I totally blanking out. Oh, yeah, luckily we have Mickey Rooney here with us today, who is going to help us.
Yeah, Yeah, current references.
Maybe it's another one of those weird translation things where it was like instead of a flower with no name, like I don't know, Daisy. Maybe the characters mean like they can either mean small stem daisy or flower with no name, or some weird shit like that. Some sort.
Right. Maybe. I'd like to assume there are reasons for things like that, like the squirrels that sound like monkeys.
Right.
But maybe they're wrong. Maybe there are no good reasons at all. They just took the Daisy model from their stock library.
I have a vegetable stock library.
I have a gold bullion library. It's the best.